Dabney Wagner1, and I just retitled my speech Norwegian. That's cool. So to begin, how many of you have seen or read The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo? Books, movies? Okay, cool. So that's Swedish. And I saw them, and I got really interested in Swedish culture and the language, so I set out to try to learn the language. But then in my research, I found that Norwegian's actually spoken, right next door in Norway, and it's a lot easier of a language. It's similar to English, and it's actually cited as one of the easier languages to learn for English speakers. So on the topic of foreign languages, Chancellor Edward Lee Gorish of the University of Alaska said, "Learning a foreign language not only reveals how other societies think and feel, what they have experienced and value, and how they express themselves, it also provides a cultural mirror into which we can more clearly see our own society." So learning a foreign language or about a foreign culture can also help provide you with a different point of view about our own society. We can look at ourselves from the third person or objectively. I've always loved languages. I've tried to learn multiple languages, and Norwegian is definitely the easiest one. And I think what makes it easier than other languages is, first, there are gendered nouns, but only two different genders. The conjugation is very easy and simple, and the cognates. There are a lot of cognates, words that are similar to English. So first, the two genders. If you've studied Spanish or French, you know that there are two genders, and you have to learn them. It's different than English because they're not gendered nouns in English. And Russian or German, there are three genders for each language. And so for Norwegian, there are two genders, and then in the late 1800s, some guy in Norway thought it would be cool to come up with a new Norwegian dialect called Nynorsk, and so he tried to do that. It has three genders, but it doesn't matter. And Riksmålsforbundet.no, it's the amount of students from this school year, 2012-2013, only 12.67% spoke Nynorsk, so it doesn't matter if you know it. But in Bokmål, which is the most prevalent dialect that's spoken in the East, the majority of the country, there are only two genders. And so the first one, this is the gendered part, is the common. And this is babuk, it's one word, bukin. And then the other gender, my handwriting is awful, is the neuter. And this is the gendered part. So all the nouns that end in et are neuter-bound nouns, and all that end in en are the common, which is masculine and feminine kind of combined. And that's how it's supposed to say. So then conjugation. If you take in Spanish, in beginning Spanish by De Silva, Xenia Sachs, they conjugate the verb querer to want, as it ends differently for each person you're talking about. So I want, you want, they want, yo quiero, tú quieres, ellos quieren, and it's different. There's a different ending for everything. And same for French, manger, je mange, tu manges, il mange, je mange. It's all different. You have to learn it for every verb, and then like 6 different endings. But in Norwegian, there's only one ending no matter what you're talking about. So in Norwegian, an essential grammar by Åse Barrett and Rolf Strandskogen, the noun å snakke, which means to speak, you just conjugate it with an R at the end. So now it's jeg snakker, du snakker, dere snakker, hun snakker. It's all the same no matter what you're talking about. That makes it really easy, so you don't have to learn, or if the verb is irregular in Norwegian, you just learn that one conjugation for the present tense and you can talk about anybody, which makes it a lot easier because that's kind of when you're starting out with a new language, that's what you find hard. That's what I find hardest. And English isn't even that simple. In English, we have different conjugations for verbs. And then last, the cognates. There are a lot of English words that are similar to their Norwegian counterpart. Examples are virkelig, which is really, like ach virkelig is oh really, that's how they said oh. Du er dum, you are dumb. Jeg har hørt, I have heard. Hva studerer du, what do you study? T-shirt, which is t-shirt. And then banan, like jeg har bananer, is I have bananas, which comes in handy. So that's the basics of the Norwegian language, and it's simple conjugation. There are only 2 genders you have to learn, and they're pretty easy. And there are a lot of cognates, so you recognize a lot of words without having to look them up. So if you're looking to expand your knowledge of languages, as an English speaker, Norwegian's a great place to start because it's pretty easy to take up. So, tusen takk, and thank you.